Story 1. My first roommate was not normal. It was my first year at university. I had just finished unpacking, said goodbye to my family, and was settling in when my roommate finally showed up. From the second Dale walked through the door, I knew something was off. I introduced myself. "Hey, I'm Dan," and extended my hand. He stared at it like he didn't understand what a handshake was, then awkwardly laughed and gave me the limpest, dead fish shake I've ever felt. I had to ask for his name. "Dale?" he mumbled. I tried small talk. "Where are you from? What's your major?" He gave me nothing, just yes or no answers and a weird half smile. Within minutes, we were both silently on our beds, laptops open, pretending the other didn't exist. I was already planning to request a room change. I figured Dale was just awkward. Painfully awkward. I was wrong. So wrong. That night, after meeting some students and checking out campus, I returned to our room. Dale was still in the exact same position, still on his laptop, still staring at the screen like nothing else existed. "What's up, Dale?" I asked. No response. It was 9:30, I was tired, so I shut off my lamp and got in bed. Dale, however, stayed on his laptop until 3 a.m. I only know because I couldn't sleep. When he finally shut it, I started drifting off. But maybe 45 minutes later, I woke up. The blinds were open. The moonlight lit the room just enough for me to see Dale, sitting on the edge of his bed, staring at me. I sat up. "Dale, what the hell are you doing?" He whispered. "Sorry," and laid back down. Next morning, he was gone. It was the first time I'd seen him leave the room. Later that day, during orientation, I was walking past the school gardens with a group when I heard someone say, "What is that kid doing?" I looked, and sure enough, there was Dale, crouched in the dirt behind a bush, rubbing a tree with both hands. Just stroking the bark. No one said anything. The tour leader didn't even notice. I walked past, pretending I didn't know him, then used the story to break the ice with 2 students in my group. It worked. We made plans to hang out later that night. When I returned to the dorm, there was even better news. The school had approved my request for a new roommate. I was getting out. But first, one more night. I told Dale, "Hey," as I walked in. He was sitting at the desk, facing the door, just waiting. "What's up?" I asked. "Nothing," he said flatly. I sat on my bed and opened my laptop, and noticed something was off. All my emails were marked as read. Folders I hadn't opened were suddenly sorted. "Dale, did you go through my computer?" "No," he shouted. Too fast. Way too fast. I didn't argue. I was out of there soon. I brushed it off and went to grab pajamas, only to realize my clothes had been moved around too. That night, I woke up to a sound. A zipper. I turned on the lamp and caught Dale kneeling next to my bag, going through it. "What are you doing?" He froze. "I thought you had my toothbrush." His lie was so bad it was almost sad. I didn't respond. I just went back to bed. One more night. The next day, I moved into my new room. My new roommate was normal, not super outgoing, but a massive upgrade from Dale. That first night, I finally slept with peace of mind. Or so I thought. Somewhere around 3 a.m., I woke up to a faint sound. Click. Then a pause. Click. It wasn't consistent. Once every 20 or 30 seconds. I got up. Checked the room. Nothing. Then I realized the sound was coming from the other side of our door. I looked through the peephole. Someone was standing there, right outside, head down. I couldn't see the face, just the top of their scalp under the soft glow of the hallway nightlight. The sound was the doorknob being tested. Gently. Repeatedly. Click. Click. They were trying to get in. I grabbed my phone and called campus police. They arrived fast, within 5 minutes. When I finally opened the door, Dale was there, in cuffs. I told the officers everything. How he was my old roommate, how he went through my stuff, and now he was stalking me, trying to break into my new room. They took him away. I never saw Dale again. Maybe he was expelled, maybe suspended. I don't know. I went on to finish my years at university like anyone else. But sometimes, when I wake up in the middle of the night, I still hear the soft clicking of a doorknob. And I still see Dale sitting on the edge of his bed, staring. Story 2. We shouldn't have gone into the woods that night. I spent 2 years at Binghamton University, and like most students, I made a tight group of friends fast. We partied a lot. Every weekend was something: big groups, loud music, campus chaos. But one Friday night in October, plans fell through. No parties, just me and 2 close friends, bored and looking for something to do. So we decided to head out to the nature preserve. There's a lake behind campus, and past that, a little hidden clearing on the far side. It's the kind of place only a few people know about. No lights, no security. Perfect for doing things you shouldn't. We brought beers, lit a fire, and had what we called a bro chat. No plans, no distractions, just laughing and drinking under the stars. As the fire crackled and the beers disappeared, time slipped away. At one point, one of us was literally rolling in the leaves from laughing so hard. Then the mood changed instantly. Shh. My buddy stopped laughing mid-sentence. We all froze, crunching. Somewhere in the woods, not far, leaves, twigs, footsteps. We weren't supposed to be out there drinking, so we tossed the bottles into the lake, stuffed the rest into a backpack, and listened. More footsteps. Just one person, it seemed, but close. My heart was pounding. Maybe it was just campus police. Maybe someone else stumbled upon us. But this spot? It was isolated. Nobody came out here. Then, snap. A branch cracked, loud, not even 20 feet away. We didn't say a word. Nobody wanted to be the one to yell out. We just sat, trying to steady our breath, shushing each other as we listened to something or someone move around us. It started circling. Whatever it was pacing. Walking around our campsite, just far enough we couldn't see them through the trees, but close enough that every movement echoed in the still night air. It felt like we were in the Blair Witch Project. And I know that sounds dramatic, but we were dead sober from fear now. This wasn't just creepy, it was wrong. Then, something flew out of the woods. Thud. A branch landed hard in the middle of our fire pit. We all jumped. My friend bolted, full sprint into the woods. The other 2 of us just looked at each other, half laughing, half panicking, trying to convince ourselves it was a joke. Then the second branch hit, right across my friend's face. He screamed and dropped to the ground. I yanked him up, grabbed the bag, and we ran. No more questions, no more hesitation. We sprinted through the woods until we hit the road that separates the preserve from the dorms. We stopped to catch our breath, hunched over, shaking. Crunch. Footsteps. On the pavement now. Whoever it was had followed us, and they were getting closer. We ran the rest of the way and flew into the building. Our other friend was already in his room, eyes wide, sweating. We looked out his window down toward the edge of the woods. And there they were. A figure. Pacing. Walking back and forth at the tree line. Every time a car passed, they retreated into the woods. Then came right back. They stayed there for a while, watching. Eventually, they disappeared into the trees, and we never saw them again. 10 minutes later, we were back to drinking and laughing, pretending it hadn't just happened. But the next morning, we all agreed. That was one of the scariest things we'd ever experienced. We never went back into those woods after dark again. Story 3. The frat party I shouldn't have survived. It was my first week as a freshman at the University of Iowa. I was settling in, starting to vibe with my roommate. He was dead set on rushing a fraternity, and though rush week wasn't until the next week, the parties had already begun. Thursday night, he asked me to go to a frat party with him. Said he didn't want to show up alone. Makes it harder to mingle. I wasn't planning to rush, but hey, it was college. I said sure. Parties were part of the experience. He picked a weird one for our first. Some sketchy, low-tier frat, possibly not even recognized by the school. His logic? Use it as a backup in case the top frats didn't offer him a bid. The house was far from campus, in a part of town that felt off. Rundown buildings, fewer streetlights, the kind of place you double-check your car locks. We pulled up to this corner house that looked like someone's grandma had just moved out. The only sign of a party was the thumping bass and cars lining the block. We knocked. The door creaked open, and this short, sweaty guy with pit stains and a solo cup greeted us. "Come in," he shouted over the music. Inside was worse. The living room was dim, packed wall to wall with sweaty guys, maybe 50 dudes. I counted 2 girls, neither one you'd remember. The heat was stifling. The vibe? Awkward. Everyone gave off antisocial energy. I talked to one guy, barely spoke English, and the convo died fast. I signaled my roommate, "Let's dip." But a bunch of guys were blocking the door and we didn't want to be obvious. So, we waited. I downed some of their warm, flat beer. 5 cups in, I barely felt anything. That's when this heavy guy waddled over, holding a tiny glass bottle. "This'll get you wrecked," he said with a grin. I fake laughed. "Thanks." I thought he'd walk away, but he didn't. He just stood there, watching, waiting, pressuring me without saying a word. So I drank it. 2 shots worth. Tasted harsh. He smiled and started chatting. Wouldn't shut up. Every time I tried to move away, he'd angle himself in front of me like we were mid-convo. Then it hit. The room twisted, my head spun, vision blurred, sound warped. It felt like the lights dimmed, or maybe my brain did. And then, blackout. Next thing I remember, I'm waking up. I was on a bed, in a pitch-black room. The music was still thumping somewhere in the house, muffled behind the walls. I could barely see, but I made out a few things. A nightstand, some furniture, and a closet door. That's when I heard it. Crunch, like someone stepped on a plastic bag, from inside the closet. My heart dropped. I didn't wait to find out. I bolted, out of the room, down the stairs, shoved through the crowd, yanked my roommate by the arm, and pulled him straight out the front door past the circle of guys still hanging near the entrance. We didn't say a word until we were in the car. On the way back to campus, I told him I was drugged. He freaked, wanted to call the cops. I told him not to. It had only been about 10 minutes from the last thing I remembered to waking up. My clothes were still on, no pain, nothing else seemed wrong. Still, I felt sick. Not from the drug, from the fear of what could have happened. Whatever that guy gave me must have been weak. Or maybe the dose was off. Either way, I got lucky. I never went back to that house. Never saw that guy again. But I still wonder, what if the next person isn't so lucky?
Please, don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember, the darkness is always surrounding us, just waiting for a chance. Thanks for watched. See you next story.